Okay, so now let us continue with the second module of our cybersecurity discussion, which is proactive defense and countermeasures. So, as I have already explained earlier, the second module we will be discussing about how do we secure our network, how do we protect our network and our network resources. So, in this module, we will be discussing with technologies like firewall. So I'm sure that most of you would have already come across this term. In many cases, people generally say if you have to protect your network, you need to have a firewall installed in your network, right? So that's true. You need to have a firewall in your network, but a firewall itself is not really sufficient to provide you security from different kind of attacks or different kind of threats. So in addition to firewall, we will also be discussing with something called intrusion prevention system or IPS, right? So in the second module, we'll be discussing mainly about firewall and IPS. Using this, how do we try to identify and block the attacks, right? So to block attacks, we are using firewall in combination with IPS. So firewall and IPS will be used together, right? So that using this, we will be able to stop the attacks, right? Now, not only this, we will also be working with content security. So this is where you will try to restrict or control what kind of URLs or what kind of websites will be accessible to the user. And when user is trying to download some things, right? You will also be able to see if the file that is being downloaded is a genuine file or is it a malware. If it is a malware, you will be able to block it, right? You'll be able to stop user from downloading if the file is known to be a malware file, right? So that comes under content security. And in the same way, if you speak of having a secure communication from your head office to your branch office, right? You want to have a secure communication. You'll also be working with virtual private networks. So you'll be creating a virtual tunnel over internet from your head office to the branch office so that you can securely send and receive data through this VPN or the virtual private network. So how do we actually configure them? How do we install? How do we deploy firewall or IPS into our network? How do we configure them? And using these technologies, how do we control what is accessible, what is not accessible to the user, right? How do we identify if there is some kind of an attack and block them? That we will be discussing in our second module, which is proactive defense and countermeasures, right? So here, let me give you a simple understanding about how a small organization's network would be looking like. So you'll be having internet link, which will be terminated onto your firewall, and firewall is in turn connected to your switch, where you'll be having various devices like say your servers or your LAN computers, printers, telephones, right? Your IP telephones, right? And if you have some Wi-Fi access points, you also want to provide wireless network so that employees who use their laptops or mobile phones and all will be able to access. That is also connected to your firewall. So we can say that this firewall is now acting as a gateway device. So the firewall is acting as a gateway device using which traffic is going out of your network to internet and traffic is coming in from internet to your network. And as an administrator, you are going to write some policies on the gateway. You're going to write some policies on the gateway to control what kind of traffic is coming in or going out of your network, right? So for a small network, for a small organization's network, this is how simple the network looks like. It's pretty straightforward, not too complicated. Now, when you speak of a large organization, right, at the enterprise level, where you have, say, a head office, you have branch office, right? You also have multiple data centers to be connected with. You also have people who are remotely working from home, like what we are all doing now, right? So in that case, the network complexity would increase, right? So there again, you need a firewall to be deployed on the head office and branch office. You need to have a VPN between head office network to the branch office network. You need to have a VPN from head office to your data centers, right? Users who are working from home will also be connecting via VPN to your organization network, right? So how do you configure these VPNs? How do you give permissions for a group of computers to have access to a specific set of services or specific set of URLs? How do you deny someone from accessing your servers? Or how do you permit them only to access certain services? This is all we are going to discuss in our second module using firewall and IPS, right? So not only configuring them, we will also be able to monitor via logs on what actually is happening in the network. And if something is wrong, say there is some kind of attack or users are trying to access some resources which are not authorizing them, using these logs, we will be able to identify that, right? So let me show you how does a firewall interface look like, right? So that we will be able to see how we can write some policies to control the user activities. Okay, so here I'm connecting to a Storm Shield UTM product. UTM stands for Unified Threat Management, which contains firewall and intrusion prevention system both. So it has both the functionality. So let me just log in. So once we log in, this is how we have the interface looking like, right? So let me take you to the policies, what I have written. So here I have some policies written where I am permitting my LAN network users to access certain resources. So here you can see the policies. I'm permitting LAN network users to access certain services like HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP and all. But at the same time, when users are accessing HTTP or HTTPS, I'm also asking my device to implement some URL filters. That is, I don't want my organization employees to access certain websites or certain category of websites. Like say, I don't want them to access shopping websites when they are in office. Let them go back home and then access whatever the website they want. But as long as they are in the organization, they are working with this. I don't want them to waste their time and resources getting access to some social media websites or online shopping websites and all. So I've created a URL filter policy which says accessing this social media or online shopping websites will be restricted. And I'm also trying to implement antivirus inspection so that maybe if user is trying to download something from internet and if that file turns out to be a malware, that will be blocked, right? And in some organizations you may have a requirement that from your organization network, from your LAN computers, you should not be accessing resources hosted in certain regions. So you call them as geolocation based restrictions. So based on the location, you're not very specific about which URL or which website or what category of website. You say if that particular resource, it can be a website or email server or FTP or anything, if it is hosted in so and so country, that should not be permitted. So just for our understanding, I have written a policy here which says if request is initiated from one of our LAN computers trying to reach some website which is hosted in say China, should be restricted, right? So let me try to access some website. Now say I want to access zoomgroup.com. We'll see if we are able to access the web page or not. So here, as you can see, I'm able to access the website, so no restrictions. If I want to access something like, say, Microsoft.com, as you can see, I'm able to access that, no restriction. Now, let's say I want to access something like eBay. So the moment I click on eBay, it says you're trying to access a website which falls under online shopping category, which has been restricted by the administrator. The administrator did not permit users to access online shopping websites, so that has been blocked. So if a user tries to access some URL which is restricted, user will not have access to that, that will be blocked. But if you are trying to access certain resources which are permitted, which are authorized, you will be able to access. Now, in the same way, so here I have some websites which are hosted in China. So let me say I want to access this website. We'll see if we will be able to access that or not. So looks like I'm unable to access that. But how do we see if that website has really been blocked? So for that, as I said, we need to monitor the logs. So I'm going into the log. I'm trying to check if access to this particular website has been permitted or restricted. Okay, so here, as you see, there's a request from one of my LAN computer with IP address as 192.168.10.10, and this is that computer. So 192.168.10.10 is this computer's IP, right? So from this computer, there was a request which is received by the firewall to reach this particular URL, eastday.com, right? Now, when the request is coming into this particular URL, your UTM device has identified that this site is hosted in China, and according to your existing policy, this should not be permitted. This has to be blocked, right? So here it says the action taken is blocked, right? And we can also see the same thing here. So it says the action taken is blocked when you are trying to access this particular URL. So this is how, using a firewall and maybe a UTM device or a next generation firewall, you will be able to write some policies and implement security into your network, right? So is this clear? Yes, Mr. Abdul, as you are asking, right? Yes, when you speak of majority of the security devices, like say firewalls or unified threat management, the next generation devices, right? Majority of them ask you to do configuration using a graphical interface. Yes, you'll be using a GUI to do this. Of course, there are certain firewalls which will ask you to do configuration through CLI, but that is when you are only discussing about a firewall, right? Okay. There's one main difference that we have to understand. When you speak of a firewall, the firewall is just trying to permit or block. So let's say this is a firewall. You have your LAN network and you have internet. Job of a firewall is only to either permit or deny traffic. So it only has two actions: either permit the traffic or deny the traffic. It cannot do anything else. Now, in my case, I have written a policy where I'm permitting LAN network users to access anything on internet for HTTP and HTTPS. So I'm permitting LAN network computers to reach internet for HTTP or HTTPS based websites. So everything is good. But I have another requirement. Irrespective of whether it is HTTP or HTTPS, if there is a request from LAN network computer trying to access anything hosted in, say, China, as per our policy there in the example which I've shown you, if they are trying to access something which is hosted in China, it has to be denied. So what we are trying to do in this particular case is we are trying to filter traffic. So we are not taking a decision on permit or deny. Already permit or deny for HTTP or HTTPS has been taken. Now out of that traffic, whatever is permitted, you are trying to filter traffic which is going to China. Or in the same case, I have also said, if you're trying to access a shopping website, shopping websites should be blocked. Now, even in this case, we are actually trying to implement filters, right? So unfortunately, when you speak of a simple firewall, it will not be able to do that. Firewall can only say, I will either accept or deny the traffic. It will not be able to filter the traffic from whatever is permitted. So this is where you are coming across new generation devices, which are called as UTM or Unified Threat Management. So these devices will have firewall, intrusion prevention system, virtual private network, that is a VPN. Along with this, it also has some additional functionality like, say, URL filters, a gateway level anti-malware, gateway level anti-spam, bandwidth controls, which we call as quality of service, proper logging and reporting. When you include these many features, when you have all this kind of functionality, it will be difficult for you to go through command line and do the configuration. So that's the reason, right? Majority of your UTMs, they ask you to do the configuration through a graphical interface, right? If you are only speaking of this thing, only about a simple firewall, yes, you can do it through CLI. And generally, the older generation devices, we were not having a proper GUI and all. So we used to do everything through command line. But today the scenario has changed, right? You still have CLI for certain advanced troubleshooting, but majority of configurations, management, monitoring, you'll be doing it through a GUI. So things will be easy for you to see and understand what is actually going on there, right? Yeah. Mr. Faisal, Mr. Abdul, Mr. Krishna, and Mr. Mohammed, guys. Is this clear? Right. Yeah. So this is what we are going to discuss in our second module of cybersecurity, that is proactive defense and countermeasures. How do we work with firewalls? How do we work with intrusion prevention systems? How do we implement content security into our network? How do we go with virtual private networks so that we have secure communication between multiple branches? And then how do we monitor all this traffic? Right? How do we monitor all the traffic? This is also in our second module, right? Yeah. Okay, so now let us continue with our third module in the cybersecurity sessions. So this is all about incident response and management. So as I said, if there is some security breach or there happened some incident, right? How do we respond to it? How do we monitor that? How do we identify that? Right? So that is what we are going to discuss in this particular module. And here we will be using something called SIM, using which we can monitor what is actually happening in our network. Right? So here SIM is trying to collect the logs from various network devices. Right? So SIM stands for Security Information and Event Management. So what does a SIM do? It tries to collect logs from our servers, our firewalls, IPS devices, or maybe our routers, switches, workstations, or maybe if you are hosting some applications, like say you have hosted your organization's website. Now, for hosting the website, you will be using some application like say IIS or Apache or Nginx, right? So from these applications, it will be collecting the logs. Or say you have some DHCP or DNS kind of servers, it will also collect logs from all these devices. So after collecting the logs from all these devices, SIM is going to put all the logs in one place and trying to analyze them. It tries to analyze and understand what actually each and every device is trying to tell you. Now just imagine in your organization, you have something like 100 computers, right? You have something like 100 computers. You have 10 servers giving you with various services like website, FTP, email, DNS, Active Directory, DHCP, and all this kind of things. Then you have various network devices like you have various routers, you have switches, right? You have some firewalls. Now, when you have this many different kind of devices, is it really possible for an administrator to go to each and every device and monitor the logs? Yes. So as you guys say, it's not really possible. It's impossible for an administrator to go to each and every device and try to monitor the logs, right? So if administrator is unable to monitor the logs, how will an administrator know if your network is functioning properly or are there some kind of issues? Now maybe there is some kind of an attack going on. So if there is an attack going on, how will the administrator come to know about it? So there should be some technology which is continuously monitoring all different kind of logs and help the administrator to identify if something is wrong or if something is suspicious, right? So this is where the SIM technology comes into picture. Now SIM is trying to take logs from all the different devices, all various sources in your network, and SIM will try to keep all the logs in one place, read them, and try to understand what each and every log is trying to tell you. Right. Now, say for example, one of your server says, right, from the server, you have a log which says there are three failed login attempts. There are three failed login attempts to some user account admin. So this very clearly tells us that someone tried to log into this particular user account admin, and because they have given a wrong password, it was not successful. But where exactly this has happened from, you don't know, right? So now you also have to bring in the logs from your firewall. Now let's say firewall says there are three connections from some internet IP, let's say 1.1.1.7 to your server, right? Now if you see, only when you bring in the log from your server and log from the firewall, you are able to understand that, okay, someone from internet with this source IP address have tried to log in to this user account admin, and they have failed in all the three attempts, right? So generally what happens, if you only look into the firewall log, that there are three connections from this IP 1.1.1.7 to server. For what? Are they accessing the website or are they accessing something else? We don't know. Or when you see that there are some three failed logins, of course, this is telling us something that there is a user, there is some attempt to log into that particular user account called admin, which has failed three times. But where is this request coming from? Is it coming from one of my LAN computer or is it coming from internet? What is actually going on? So to understand that, we have to analyze these both logs together. So that's what SIM is trying to do. So SIM is trying to understand and analyze the logs from various resources in our network and show us what is actually happening in the network, right? So let me show you with the interface of a SIM solution, how actually it will identify and show you the updates and all. So I guess you are all able to view my screen, right? Yes, thank you. So here, this is Alien Vault USIM application, right? Now in this SIM solution, as you can see in the dashboard, it is showing us that there are various security related incidents happening on the network. So this is how it actually shows us if there is something wrong, right? So now let us say there is a system compromise event. There is some kind of malware or there is some kind of attack which has happened, right? So let me just select that event. So once I select the event, it will show me with all the data relevant to it, right? So here it says on some of my internal computers, say 192.168.204.226, right? There is a connection going from this computer to something on internet. And what does that computer is trying to connect with? It's connecting to some CNC server, command and control server related to a malware. And what is the priority? It's high risk. Means as an administrator, I have to first identify why is this computer getting connected to that remote server, which application might be initiating this connection, and immediately I have to block it, right? So it says this is high risk. Now there's some medium risk, right? So on one of the LAN computer 192.168.75.103, there is an adware identified. Now who is giving me all these updates? The antivirus application which is installed on the LAN computer is giving this log. SIM is analyzing it and telling us that, see, from your anti-malware, I have got this log, right? And this is what is happening in the network. And if you observe, I'm getting log from all different systems in the LAN. So I'm not looking into one specific computer. I'm getting the logs from various systems, right? So here it says that there is some adware. So not very risky. It's not going to damage your data or destroy your data, but it will really annoy the end user by constantly giving you with some pop-ups, some advertisements and all that, right? Anyway, that's an irritation to the end user. It would interrupt your workflow and all, right? But not as risky as the previous incident where we have seen that LAN computer is getting connected to a remote server, and once it is successfully establishing a connection to a command and control server, hacker can remotely take control of my machine and misuse this computer to do any other kind of attacks, right? So this is what SIM will actually help us to identify. SIM will tell us if everything in our network is functioning properly or do we have some kind of risk. And if there is a risk, what is the extent? Is it a high security risk issue or is it a medium security risk issue? What is actually happening? Right. So in cybersecurity, we are actually going to deal with all these three modules. Right. We are going to discuss about security risk assessment, where we are going to see what kind of a risk do we have in our network, right? When we are connecting our resources to internet. And then the second concept that we are going to discuss is how do we implement network security and countermeasures. And the third module is how do we monitor what is actually happening in our network in regards to all different devices and applications and all. And if there is something serious, something suspicious, how do we try to identify that and take the necessary actions to block it? So these are the three concepts that we will be discussing in our cybersecurity course, right? Guys, is this clear? Or if you have any queries, you can ask me or you can put it here in the chat window. Yes, Mr. Krishna, as you are asking, even for the sim, I'll be showing you like how do you install sim and how do you do the integration with your network. Because see, generally when you start working with an organization, in most cases sim is already installed, sim is already integrated into your network, right? You will only be monitoring what is happening or what kind of logs are being generated by sim, right? You will not know or you will not see how do you install and how do you integrate sim into your organization's network. That's what we are going to do. We will see how do we install the SIM solution, how do we integrate this SIM solution into the network, how do you start collecting logs from various devices into your SIM, how do you fine tune your SIM solution so that you will be able to understand what is actually happening with the network, right? Yes, we will be doing all these things, right? I'll show you how you do all these things practically, right? Yes, and generally when you speak of this jobs, yes, in the job, see, basically at the L1, if you are a fresher at the L1, right, you will not be doing any kind of configurations directly on the security devices, or you will not be auditing the networks, but you will be monitoring what is happening in the network, right? So that's where, of course, your SIM knowledge and all will be helpful, because how do you monitor, how do you understand the reports, or how do you understand the events or alarms which are triggered by the SIM? That all things will be helpful for you. But let's say you're already having some experience into the networking or network security field, right? You will also be working as L2 or L3, where you actually start working on these technologies, right? So what you are going to learn in these sessions, right? If you are clear with all the concepts and you keep doing the practical well, right? Even if you are working as a L2 or L3, right? You will be able to handle the issues. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So now, before we conclude, let me also show you what sort of job opportunities you'll be getting, right? Regarding to this cyber security part, right? So I guess you're all able to view my screen, right? Yeah. So here, uh, I'm just showing you with some opportunities which are posted in this website, shine.com, right? So here Infosys is saying like, if you have some basic experience, like say you don't even have some experience or you're a fresher, right? You have some job opportunities where you'll be working with the SOC, right? So SOC is where you will be monitoring what is happening in the network and all, right? And you will be reporting it back to your L2 or L3 users, right? So again, Access Consultancy is also giving you with something like this, right? So 0 to 3 years. Why I'm showing you with the job opportunities with freshers or 0 to some 2 years or 3 years of experience is because generally in most cases people have a misconception that if you are coming into the network security, unless you have some 5 years or 6 years of experience, you don't get jobs. That's not true, right? Of course every organization would have some requirements, right? Now even if you are a fresher, you will be able to get a job into the security and all. So here again, see, they are asking you for ideas, sim, and all these things, right? All the concepts what we are learning in this course will actually help you to secure a job, right? But don't expect that you will be doing all the configurations and all right from the beginning if you are not having some experience, right? If you are already having some experience, relevant experience into the networking or the network security field, yes, you will also be working on directly with the firewalls or security analysis and all, right? You will be implementing some policies and all that. Yes. Right. So is this clear? Yeah, you can also access this website. Like you can go with Shine or Naukri or Indeed, right? You'll be able to see you have n number of opportunities into this particular network security field, right? And one simple thing they all ask you, if you have knowledge in auditing the networks to see whether your network has been configured securely or not. That's what you are going to learn in the first module. And if say there are some security weakness, security issues, how do you fix it? That's what you'll be learning in the second module. That is countermeasures and firewalls. And the third module, how do you go on with day-to-day monitoring and understanding what sort of events are happening? That's what you are going to learn in the third module, the SIM, right? So with this, I conclude today's demonstration, right? If you have any queries, you can ask me. Yeah. Thank you all.